when you are in that position where a negative thought does come in and it starts wreaking havoc, how do you get rid of it?
Well, it's what we always used to say on the door. We were a courageous door. There was 4 of the top fighters in the city. And you stop the trouble at the door. That's what we always said. We stop the trouble at the door. Most people don't want to stop the trouble at the door, Paul, because they don't want to knock that guy back because he's a gangster. So they want to curry favour with him. They're frightened of him. They don't want to knock that person back because, he deals drugs in the club and, I might get a little cut of that. So people are currying favour or they don't want to stop that guy because he's drunk. We don't want to stop that stag party because they might kick off. But when the trouble's on the door, it's contained, you can see it, it's right there, it's clear. But if the trouble gets inside and you let it in, suddenly one man can become one army because they collect with other people in the club, they couple with other people, they open the exit doors, and suddenly you're not fighting one person, you're fighting an army. So our job was to notice it on the door. So the pressure of working as a bouncer, it's life and death, so people die. So when you go into an arena where it's a real war and you could die, you get extra sensory perception. So you look down the queue and you see a guy 5 down, you go, I know he's going to be fighting in the club in an hour's time by his behaviour. So you walk down the queue and you say, you can't come in tonight. So you're blocking somebody for something he's going to do in an hour's time, and you have to explain to him he can't come in, and he doesn't know. He doesn't know why you're not letting him in, but you know he's going to kick off because you can read that, you can see it. So we used to do that all the time. We used to walk down the queue and just say, you can't come in, you can't come in. They didn't like you, but we weren't trying to win favour. We were just trying to protect the good people in the club so they could have a good time. So our job was to clean the inside of the club up and make sure no negative entities came in. So it's the same with the mine door. Anything that comes in that is in any way unkind or in any way represents vice, in any way is selfish, we don't let it in. We just observe it. And of course, it creeps in, you get caught, but you start to, rather than it going in and collecting 20 mates, you start to catch it in the foyer and you go, I've let the wrong one in. And you go in and get them out.
Right, so it's catching it early.
Catching it early.
As soon as it enters.
If it gets in and you don't get a hold of it, it's like a virus. It is a virus. It's a parasite. It just multiplies. And suddenly, that's, a leak anywhere is a leak everywhere, isn't it? Yeah. So suddenly, one vice leads to a second vice and a third vice. And once it's inside you, it's living inside you, and it's feeding off you. And the problem with it is, once it's inside you, is that when it rises up and engages you, people aren't consciously aware that it's not them. They're not consciously aware that they have other energies or other beings inside them. And again, I'm talking in very, not metaphorically, I'm talking in very real terms. I'm saying that a perception is a being, it's a spirit. But is it a good spirit? But that's what a perception is. If you have a perception that somebody's somebody's a terrorist because they're black or because they're Muslim or because they're Sikh or because they're Hindu, or if you have a perception that somebody's a certain thing because of a colour or because of a because of a race or because of a culture, that's a perception. It's an idea that can become an ideology, and it can end up creating a cancer in you that can damage everything you project out.